The famous first day and the famous first grade. Well, my father was the one who dropped me off in his giant army truck. And I had my big paper bag, probably a Safeway bag or a store bag, brown paper. And I had, I think, two burritos de papa, two potato burritos, which are some of the best burritos you can have. And my father literally just pointed to the school. Ahí está tu escuela. There's your school. So I looked at the building. I didn't know what it was. I opened the door, big giant door. I shut the door with my brown bag with two burritos. And I looked at it. I go, there's nobody outside, just a building, big giant cement building. Central Elementary in Escondido, California, 1955. I walked up across the street. I walked up the stairs. I opened a big door, big wooden, heavy door. I opened it. And it was a big, dark hallway. Okay, all right, it's a dark hallway. Okay, I guess I have to walk into it, close the door, and there's a class I have to go into, I suppose. I have to open a door here. So I opened the first one, and I opened that door, and it was dark. It was a giant room with a green chalkboard on the right, a black chalkboard on the right, and way ahead of me on a corner of the room was the teacher with a group of her students around her, I think sitting on the floor. I guess I have to go over there. So I started speaking in Spanish. By the time I got there, the first contact I had with my teacher was to be spanked. She put me over her knee and she spanked me because I was late, because I didn't know what was going on, and because I spoke Spanish. So then, being very, chipilado boy, I was a mama's boy. All I could do was cry. I just cried. I'm a very sensitive guy to this very day, which is good, because that way I can relate to people and I can write and express myself. So, so I started crying, I started to cry. So I guess my tears dried up. And it was time for something because the bell rang. So I got my bag and I went out there and I ran and I opened the bag and I started eating. But I looked out and everybody was playing. Gosh, I'm the only one eating here. Okay. All right. I think I got it. Bell rang. I went back to class. And we did some kind of work. And the bell rang again. I was prepared. So I left my second burrito there. And I ran out the door and wanted to play, but everybody was eating. So that's just the way it was. That's what happens to us when we only speak Spanish and we don't know about the school, and we go in and we try to figure things out by ourselves, which is the experience of our children, even to this very day, that speak only in Spanish. So that was my first day, and I went home and I didn't tell my mother what happened because it was a different world, a different planet. So, ¿cómo te fue? I said, she must have said, how are you? And I probably said, okay. But my mother could read right through me. So I'm sure she figured out how I was feeling or what had taken place. And I never forgot that, So from that day on, I kind of held back. I don't really know English that well, or I don't know it at all. And I was spanked and hurt, so I'm going to kind of cool out. So I began to just withdraw immediately.